show me what you normally do. So
Sure.
for the guys on the stream, I will show you the in-game scene. There you go, so you can actually get locked on that. All right, so opening, you like to open hatch first, yeah? Or
I typically do, yeah.
cool.
I sometimes wonder if I'm getting behind against the early Ling builds. Usually don't die to it, but that's another possible thing. We'll see if he does something like that.
Okay, cool.
I
Yeah.
played this guy before on ladder, and he often does that, so.
Okay, that's cool. So don't worry about that for now. Just keep going hatch gas pool, same as you normally do.
Yep.
Hatch gas pool, get your double queen out, same as always. Thing is, don't build your overlord to get out of 36 supply. Just put down a third hatchery. No third queen,
Okay.
so just 2 queens, third hatchery, then the overlord. Drone to
The
30.
guide,
Yep.
I know the guide you had said 33 hatchery, 32 overlord, so
Yeah. Awesome. Good.
practicing that. Yep.
Sick memory. And then from 34 supply or 33 supply, just after that, you just add 1 or 2 more drones, and from there it's just non-stop Ling Bane. 33 or 34 supply thereabouts. Awesome. So good luck, have fun, and kick some ass, man.
Sure. Thanks.
All right, guys. So if he was a lot more confident with like, I want to play 2-base muter, I want to rush to muters, we would have just refined that style. But as it is, since he's clearly a little bit iffy about exactly where he wants to progress, we've decided to kind of go with, let's go back towards what I know. I know how to teach best, and what I think is the most robust way to learn Zerg vs. Zerg in Legacy of the Void, which is mastering the aggression, mastering the early game. Interestingly, he is not building an Overlord, so he builds a 20 Overlord. That delays your queen in your main slightly, but it allows you to sync both queens up. It's not a big deal. I prefer the 19 Overlord. I'm not going to bother getting him to change that, because it's one of these minor things where it's more my OCD than, oh, this is going to massively slow you down or anything like that. Actually, there are 2 lava sitting there. Oh, but they're going to be Zerglings anyway. Oh, yeah, it's fine. It's all good. So he's got his Zergling speed on the way, guys. It's just droning up. You don't pull any guys off gas with this build. He does have 17 drones in the main. My OCD kicking in is like, yeah. He's going to go for Baneliness before third hatch. That's okay. You can do that. I prefer the third hatch first, usually. But this way, you know, you can get your Banelings really early, and it doesn't matter too much. It doesn't change up all that much. The hatchery is more there for transition, more than anything else. You said Day9's strategy is just go kill him? I think you're wrong there, Muffin Man. Pretty sure he's talking about if you're ever confused. Maybe he said that in a few different videos. I don't know. I never watched all of Day9's stuff, but a few of his things definitely, you know, stuck with me, and pretty confident I remember that one correctly, mate. Feel free to link away if you want to argue with that. Oh, I missed the fucking. Oh, sorry. Okay. It got censored by Twitch chat at first, which is why I didn't understand. Alright, so it should be non-stop Ling Bane from here. Yeah, good job queuing up that extra Overlord. From here it's just non-stop Ling Bane. Good job. Go kill him. Now he hasn't got any forward Banelings morphing, so let's start writing a few notes on how this is playing out. Crack game 1, Ling Bane all in. So he's taking a terrible fight there. Took very bad fight. Should have hidden Lings to morph forward Banes. Never take a Ling fight when outnumbered. Lings spiral way too hard. He's not hotkeying his Banelings separately. Hotkeying, you need to work on hotkeying those Banelings a little faster and automatically. Usually as soon as you morph them. He didn't add those Banelings to the hotkey. Yeah, he always delays it. That's a really bad habit. That's a very bad habit. That's going to slow him down a lot. Yeah. It's really quite sloppy. So his other Banelings are sitting there. He's wasting APM right now. Okay. Yep. It's really good we decided to do this first because his Ling Bane micro is not on point. You can just go for the third with this, that's fine. If you're just pressuring, but if you're going for a sort of all-in like he is, you really should have gone for the workers a lot quicker. And he had a big window to do it as well. If you went straight into natural, you could have killed the workers. He's getting enough of this around, he should be able to overwhelm. He's keeping up his inject cycle well in the midst of everything. Alright. I didn't pay attention to those early 2 Zerglings and exactly where those came from.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I just mute my own mic, so I can hear you the whole time.
Actually.
Sorry?
You didn't mute your own mic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I could hear you the whole time.
Should have told me, man.
Whatever. It doesn't matter.
No, because that's distracting. Okay, either way, you
it
got it.
worked out.
You got the assessment there. So I don't need to repeat myself.
Work on hotkey Banelings.
You got to hotkey those Banelings straight away.
The first fight was bad. I should have had Banelings, advanced Banelings, and the hotkey of the Banelings was weird.
Oh, you know what? I muted myself on Discord. Great. We're on Skype, aren't we? Normally I coach on Discord lately, that's why. So that's extra distracting. Luckily, that was an all-in game. It's not like a macro game. You've just got me there, like, nitpicking in the background. It's just like, well, this is helpful. But yeah, you've got to... You're using the alt hotkey to steal those units?
Yep, to steal the Banelings out, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Do that automatically the moment you start morphing them. Never take the Ling fight when he first engages you, unless you're ahead. Always try to morph some Banelings on his side of the map. Hide a few Zerglings outside of vision.
Yep.
I didn't catch what happened with his early Zerglings. Did they go
really
around the overload?
They didn't do anything useful. I saw that he was going hatch first, and I just kind of was super lazy about it.
That's fine. What about his Zerglings, though? How did they get around the vision? Did you just completely miss them leaving the base?
No, I saw them.
Oh,
what do you
okay.
mean? I completely saw them coming to my natural, and I was just ready for them. I moved my queens out, my main queen to my ramp, my natural queen out towards the ramp, and just shot them as much as I could. And they just kind of ran into my base and did nothing, and died.
Okay, cool. All right. Because I thought that might have been something you weren't quite ready for, but then I was like, oh, it seems like you're keeping your macro up. Just losing a little bit of mining time is okay.
Yeah.
Probably should build a pair of Zerglings just to make it a little bit easier to handle that, rather than having to micro drones and stuff. Just make your life easier, because you're gonna need extra Zerglings later anyway. So I think like under defending is probably like one of the biggest problems a lot of Zerg players have in ZvZ, where they're like, oh, I can get one extra drone. I feel like the rule should always be...
I see him going hatch first, and I'm like, only one pair of Zerglings.
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly. It's like, I feel like you should always match exactly what your opponent throws at you. Like, a lot of players are like, I'm going to have the defender's advantage, like, I'll use queens.
Yeah, exactly.
But you've got 3 times as much chance of screwing up the engagement and then being up shit creek. And the thing is, whenever you're attacking your opponent, or they're attacking you, the defender is the one who's going to screw up their macro. The defender is the one who might lose queens and drones if they make one mistake. So it's always better to over-defend compared to what you do against a Protoss or Terran. Build just as many or even a bit more units than your opponent, because if you can defend it easier, it means you can put more APM into focusing on your injects, for keeping your macro up, rather than having to desperately micro every single Zergling and Baneling. And it also means that you can... It also means that you can then counter pressure instantly, and if they've been a bit too greedy, you can do massive damage. At the very least, you're going to force more units out of them, and it gives you a lot of space. It gives you, you get to at least do a pressure at the front, and they have to kind of show their hand. The moment I see a player who kind of gets in that mindset, I'm not saying you were, but I'm just kind of pointing out in case you do in some games. Whenever I see a player in Zerg vs Zerg get in the mindset of like, I'm just going to defend, and if I defend an attack, I'm going to immediately start droning. I always feel like that's just asking to die to like random attacks and stuff.
I think that's part of my problem, is I have that mindset in ZvT and ZvP where you just defend, and eventually you just free win late game, or at least kind of. And that doesn't seem to work in ZvC.
Not at all, because you're playing a douchebag Zerg player, man. So it's the same thing. Imagine you're a Protoss or a Terran. Think about every time you're playing Protoss or Terran, the whole game is them doing these big waves of pressure to stop you from being a greedy douchebag, and also to scout any all-ins you're sending at them. And And that's kind of exactly what you want to do as a Zerg player as well. You've got to limit the drone unit mechanic so that they can't just get away with surprising you with a massive all-in. So they can't just get away with building 20, 30 drones at once, no units, and then getting away with it. And that's, yeah, it's good you've already got this, you know, concise understanding of it, because okay, good luck, have fun. Because it allows you to very quickly just go, okay, let's change my mindset for this matchup. Let's not play this like it's ZVT or ZVP. I'm playing against my own race. I'm playing against Zerg. He says ready whenever. So we're going to do the exact same thing this game. Just very quickly, once again, to get a handle of the Ling Bane numbering. If you want to hide a few Zerglings on his side of the map, your first 2 or 4 Zerglings, you know, run out of the Overlord vision, hide them to get forward Banelings going is great. If you can
Don't
kind
go
of...
for the third, you said.
If you're going all in, yeah. Normally, going for the third is fine if you're just pressuring. But because you had Banelings at the front of his natural, I would have loved for you to at least poke into his natural. If there's like Banelings or Roaches there already, you can pull back and go for the third and probably still get it. But if there's nothing there, like he was being super greedy that game, in the follow-up, then you could have just blown everything up. So anyway, really good start. You already got yourself a nice free win with a nice Ling Bane all-in. Let's do it one more time. Focus on instant hotkeying the Banelings and trying to get that, you know, forward position with your own morphing Banelings. Otherwise, just more of the same. It looks pretty clean. Keep it up.
Alright, perfect.
Lol. Can you hear me now? It's like the one day where I don't do the "can you hear me now" right after I mute myself, and I derp and mute the wrong program. Wriggle, 26 months sub. Thank you so much, mate. Twitch cannot stop me giving you money for small internet pictures. Oh, thanks, mate. Let's take a look. Awesome. Thanks, Popeline, Bayagster, a few of you guys for following as well. Appreciate it, guys. Easy Weezy says, I really like the time feedback. No thoughts, anyone? What are you guys talking about? I'm always so aggressive to my viewers, probe. It's an honor that you guys get to watch my stream. An honor! I'm a douchebag who plays video games on the internet. Yeah. So anyway. Anyone who just tuned in, do check out today's daily. It's linked in chat. I was talking about channeling your rage. Rage against the machine, except not just channeling your regular rage. Alright. So let's take a look at the positioning here, Overlord-wise. I'm not a big fan of this Overlord. So something I want to point out is his Overlord positioning on the follow-up to this game. His third Overlord seems pretty good. That's one of the better positions on this map for a third Overlord, because just putting it there is not incredible. So I'm actually down with that. Let's write a few notes. Game 2? Okay. Overlord positioning is a little vulnerable. You don't have full vision of the left ramp exit of his natural. Especially if he pokes your Ovi, it will lose all vision and you can't see stuff coming your way. You should always use your first 2 Overlords in ZvZ to watch. Oh my god. Outside your opponent's base. Took way too long to morph Banes this game. Wasted valuable time. Looks like it's still going to work. But he did waste valuable time there. Just always split off a few lings. Box plus alt to put on plus alt 3 to split off 4 forward banes. Even if you're worried about holding a forward position, that will work for you. Hey, 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 GG's, well played. All right.
That baneling hit was real rough.
Yeah. You took a long time once again to morph banelings up close to his base. So what I really want you to get used to, if you're ever in that position where you're wondering, oh, I'm not sure I can, morph banelings here, because then his zerglings are just going to get on top of you. You're going to take a bad fight, right?
Back when I saw his zerglings, I wasn't sure if it was just 4 or how many it was, so I pulled them back, and that might have been the mistake.
Yeah, I think what you want to get used to doing, you've got 3 as a spare hotkey for you at this stage of the game. Just box 4 zerglings, alt 3. Send them off to the right, somewhere where an overlord can't see. Just more forward banelings somewhere hidden. So even if your zerglings have to pull back, it's just so important to get banelings up on your opponent's side of the map, because the moment you've got them there, you can just totally dictate the pressure all into your opponent's face. And it lost you valuable time having to kind of pull back, morph the banelings. It can really just take the wind out of your sails, and your opponent could have been very greedy and then still defended if he had a few more banelings, pulled his queens to the front, that sort of thing. Now, something which will help you with that setup is actually your overlord vision. I can see you're looking at the document now. Overlord positioning is a little vulnerable, because that one overlord on the high ground, it can see pretty much everything. The moment a queen comes out, shoots it once, you lose vision of the path to his third and the path out the natural. So on pretty much every map, I always have 2 overlords a little bit further back, 1 on each path. And because they're kind of spread out a bit more, you're going to see most of the path to the third. So you've got plenty of time to see a drone heading towards the third base.
That was going to be my first comment, is that it's harder to see the third base.
Yeah, exactly. So because you've got that one overlord a bit further over to the right, you should see the drone heading over there. Not to mention, because you're playing more aggressively, you're always going to have a few units out. You should always have extra zerglings. So even if it's like, oh, I was too busy microing, I didn't see if there's a third, I should always be sending zerglings up there anyway and scouting around and constantly attacking and pressuring. So yeah, it should keep you up to date.
All right, that's good advice.
Okay, so it's just 2 small things there. Always, split off a couple zerglings. It could even be your scouting zerglings. If you keep them alive, just, run back out of the enemy's overlord vision. Because, you can, I don't know if you do this, but you see where your opponent's overlords are on the map, and you imagine their circles of vision around those overlords. Yeah, and then you kind of you make it look like you're heading home, and then as soon as you leave the circle, your zerglings just go to the right, go hide behind a hedge somewhere, morph into banelings a bit later. Yeah. Awesome. So those sort of maneuvers are really good. I think we've done enough of just practicing the Ling Bane kind of all in for now. Obviously, it's something you can grind on ladder, and I really advocate do 10-15 games against the practice partner where you just, bam, 5-minute game of Ling Bane all-in, Ling Bane all-in, Ling Bane all-in.
Sure.
And you can even be like, oh, can you do the same? Do a 2-base Ling Bane all-in. And then that way you're forced to just do this very interactive, messy micro, and it just kind of gets you crisp on that. But for now, let's move on to doing some cool shit, aka Ling Bane pressure into a Roach all-in. So we'll move on to stage 2, and that should be cool. So game 3, moving on to the Roach transition. So you're going to do the same opening, 33, 34 supply, up to about 44 supply though, so just about 20 zerglings total. Only morph 2 or maybe 4 banelings, no more than that. Obviously, you always want to morph a couple zerglings or leave a couple zerglings at home as you're pushing out, so that you can morph defensive banelings as soon as your attack's fizzling out. But for the most part, you're just droning behind it. And as you get up about 10 or so drones on your third, it doesn't matter if you're slightly off on this. Sometimes you'll be so busy microing, you'll look back, your natural's fully saturated.
But the third and your main and nat fully saturated?
Not the third, just the main and the natural. So, sorry, 10 drones on the natural, I meant. Did I say the third?
Yeah,
okay.
Okay.
I'm a madman. Yeah. Do not do that.
Drones, yeah.
It's okay, that's insane. So yeah.
Roach and second gas.
Roach and second gas, exactly. Yep. Awesome. And remember, your attack fizzles out, you kill 6 drones, but then he's counterattacking with Zerglings. Don't do the thing where you're like, I've got 2 Banelings and a Queen, I'll be fine. Make 20 Zerglings of your own, get back out there, because you're not building extra Queens with this style. You don't build a spine, you don't have any sort of anchor for your defense. So the moment you're on defense in Ling Bane, if you don't have an anchor, you're always going to be less efficient, right? Because you just, you're forced to blow up into his spread out Banelings, because otherwise he's going to enter your drone line. So you're forced to take bad trades, which is why it's very important for you to overbuild units a bit, get back on his side of the map, and you don't need to keep throwing your units away. Like, if you ever go in with your pressure, you see 6 Banelings and a Spine Crawler ready or some shit, just back off. Don't feel like you need to headbutt to your death. The Ling Bane, the pressure, and any follow-up Ling Bane, it's all about keeping vision on his side of the map, seeing anything that comes out, slowing down any sort of attack that's coming your way to give you time to prepare. So that's essentially it. Where you stop droning is about 2 bases saturated on minerals, 2 gas geysers. You can be a little bit under on your natural 13, 14 drones if you want. And from there, obviously, you build 4 or 5 overlords at once. You build, 12 to 20 roaches, depending on how secretive you want to be with the all-in. Rally Ling Bane behind it. Ravager Ling Roach, or Ravager Ling Bane, however the hell you want to do it. And you're just going to completely all in with that. So, awesome.
I often find that I'm out of gas when I try this, so we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Sometimes, it will be slightly awkward if, he counterattacks super hard and you're suddenly forced to make, heaps of Banelings. Sometimes it will kind of deplete everything, but we'll just see how it plays out, and I guess we'll address that situation by situation. Are you comfortable with Cactus Valley?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I think it's one of the more standard maps in the new pool.
Yeah, it's got some weird chokes on it and stuff, but it's not too bad. So we did talk for a little bit there, so heyo. Ready for another, Mr. Cyberkit. I should have told him he could unmute. But I guess this way he doesn't know what's coming, which is probably a little bit better. But if he loses this one, I'm going to give him full disclosure of what you're going to be throwing at him next. Because it's like, hey, let's give you a bit of stiffer opposition here. Give him a bit more of a chance to take you out. Puck's in here. He wants to learn some ZvZ.
Okay, sure.
Good luck, have fun, guys. Alright. Let's see if he actually stays. Looks like he's in it. He's gonna watch us some ZvZ.
Sick.
All right. So yeah, focus. You know what you're doing. Still do the Ling Bane pressure. Still try to split off those Zerglings. To get yourself a bit of a forward position. And good luck, man.
Yep. Thanks.
And let's mute the correct program this time. Good luck, man. All right. So guys, hopefully you are enjoying this coaching session. If you guys are interested in the guide, what are we coaching on today? We're going through my aggressive ZvZ Ling Bane into Roach guide. Because he loves muters, his eventual transition from here will be going into mutalist. So I'm going to start writing a few notes on that now in case we don't get up to that point in this 1 hour of coaching. Eventual transition will be to Roach speed, no evos, into muters. Will surprise a lot of people. Usually do it off 5 gas, but can go higher on drones gas if your opponent is doing the same. Once muters are out, you can hide your roaches ready to base trade, and with roach speed they'll do very well at this. You often need to build a lot of roaches to be safe, but that's okay. Cool. Alright. I'm just going to read chat for a minute, see if there's any questions in there. I do try to do this every now and then in between games. I'm from Sydney, / biggest city in Australia. Reglinium subscribed. Already saw that. Cool. So this is Masters 1, Brian Rampage. Masters 1 ZvZ coaching. It's pretty good. How is he hearing me in real time? We're on a call right now. This is not a ladder game. So we're on a Skype call, but I thought we were in a Discord voice channel before, so I was just like chatting to him, criticizing what he was doing, and while I was writing notes, thinking he couldn't hear me in that first game. And then I was like, oh shit, I muted Discord. I wasn't even talking to him on Discord. So you could hear everything in that first game. Luckily, I wasn't too critical. Sometimes I like go real harsh. I'm like, oh man, this is so shit. Why is he doing this? Why is he doing this? I was a little bit like that, but not as harsh as I could have been. And that's fine. I don't mind if people go back and watch it later, but I don't want that to happen during the coaching because it can affect their confidence a lot. Ooh, he's forgotten his baneling nest. What's going on? Gotta get that third in that baneling nest ASAP. We're a little bit off right now. 2 overlords as well. Get back on track.
I'm surprised.
I think he was worried because he didn't see
money for all that.
His opponent. Yeah, he's got plenty of money.
Huh. Why was that so late?
Slow bane nest, slow third.
Interesting.
God damn it, when I slouch, my mic is like perfectly blocking my second monitor right where I want to be typing. So I'm just going to kind of slouch around my microphone.
And I'm down like 3 workers. Oh.
Oh. 25 workers is fine with this. But once again, he didn't really morph banelings ahead of time, which kind of sucks.
Cool.
Now he needs to build more Zerglings to keep the third alive, yeah. Being decisive with the attack is good. Let's watch his, Where are those banelings clicked? He should be clicking into the natural mineral line.
That went well.
That's the easiest target. He's not boxing his units. Yeah, he's not splitting off to defend this third. He's made a bit of a big mistake there. Rotor and second gas, not important.
That's nice. Well. And my Roachhorn is super late. Well, this game didn't go very well.
Yeah, that's alright. If you ever do kind of pass armies in the night like that, it's really important to just overbuild your Zerglings and rally them to your third. Don't hotkey them. So they can kind of go there and you can manually micro them to deal with it. And don't worry about the Roach transition. Delay it, because if you're in a messy position, that means you're going to need to build more Ling Bane. So remember, everything's flexible. Always overbuild units to keep that map presence. That's the most important thing. For now, just try to finish up with a desperate sort of all-in attack. Do whatever you can. You know, you might still be able to make this work, especially if you get some Banelings morphed with it. Could be very powerful.
So I see him going around, but I really don't want to turn around.
Yeah, so you've got to use that alt hotkey. New units rallying out, units at home. Put them on a different hotkey. You know, put new units you're building on that separate hotkey. You've kind of got the one control group syndrome right now, so really use that alt hotkey as much as you can.
I hear you saying this and I'm not doing anything about it.
Alt 3. It's because you haven't programmed it in. Because you haven't practiced it before. So this is something, whenever you're in a messy ZvZ situation, being able to steal a squad and just split your army into 2 parts is so important. That's something we can talk about as your attack crashes in.
Dies terribly.
You might actually still win here. You probably shouldn't, but there's always a chance. Zerglings just need to keep being microed in on top of the enemy units. And
Nope, in, not.
Get in there, boys.
In there. Can't tell if this is working or not. What?
So tilted.
Yeah.
It's all right, man. You almost broke him there. So good attempt. Probably time to tap out now. Sweet as. GG's.
Oh, that was quite a mess compared to the first two.
Yeah, that's all right. Still getting used to it. It is a new build. You don't really have it as muscle memory yet, and you've kind of got more things running through your head that I've been talking to you about, as well as with the new, you're going up to roaches this time. The game plan's a bit more complex, has more stages. It's something well within your skill set. You're a 5k MMR Zerg. You can do this, but you're not automatically going to do it. Even pro gamers suck balls when they first play a build. Like, I have seen pro gamers play so bad. People are like, match fixing. And then, like, you talk to the pro afterwards and they're like, yeah, I tried this build I saw another player do because I thought, it would be really perfect for this situation. I'd never done it before. And I looked like I was in, Platinum League or something. And it's like, it happens. Shit happens. Ain't no thing. So let's go host up Abyssal Reef. Because why not? Okay. So biggest mistakes that game were early on. You just didn't put down the hatchery and third base at the time, which you normally do.
I thought I put it down at 34. I think I was supposed to put it down at 33, but I didn't feel that late on it. The Roachborn I felt late. But the hatchery and the baneling nest, I was very surprised when you said I was late.
Yeah, I don't mind you going for the third base first and then the baneling nest, but...
Yeah, in the first game you said that was better, right? So I started doing that instead.
Right, okay, yeah, that's fine. It definitely was very late, though. I'm not sure what was going on. I think you must have built your Overlord ahead of time before putting down the third hatch. Or something like that, because
have to review it, yeah.
Because you had like a lot of gas banked up. You had like only like 350 minerals. But yeah, like your baneling nest, even if it's after the hatch, should go down at like 250 at the latest.
So, do you keep 3 guys on gas the whole time?
Yes, I do. It just makes things a lot simpler.
The build that you posted, whenever it was, had something like a 240 baneling nest timing in it, and I timed it out and found that had to be 2 on gas instead of 3 after speed. Maybe I'm nuts.
Well, right. That's
could be old.
It's old. It's not entirely accurate.
Sure.
240, 50 gas. Yeah, it's just kind of rough. It's like, look, just drop it about 240, about 50 gas. Yeah, and that should be fine. If you've got 70, 80 gas, it's not a big deal. But you always want it like before 2 minutes 50 usually, preferably.
That sounds like before the third hatch then.
Preferably before the third base. I don't think so. Do you double up your workers every game?
On the close 4 mineral patches?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean I try to. I'm not super good about it. Depends on how lazy I'm being.
No worries. Yeah, no, you should be able to drop it like right after the hatch goes down. It's just important to, like, maybe after you drop the hatch, you're building the Overlord straight away. Make sure you get the baneling nest down, and then you can go for, like, the Overlord and everything else. So, don't stress too much about it. It's not the biggest deal.
Sure.
Yep. Just if you're going hatch, baneling nest, do it. Hatch, baneling nest, Overlord, that's fine. Sure. Biggest issues that game, yeah. Number 3 is your separate squad, or maybe you swap into just 1 and 2. Whatever control group makes the most sense for you, because this is something which really helped my ZvZ so much in Legacy of the Void. Was just, bam, oh, he's run past me with some units.
Yep.
And you need to swap into manual mode. And this is something actually, with the Ling Bane micro, there's a really good tip. If you're doing the Ling Bane all in, then I actually stop hotkeying my Zerglings. Because a lot of the time there'll be an opening.
Yep.
And I want to run my Zerglings into his main base. But then if my other Zerglings are all just on the same control group and I'm controlling them together, I'm like accidentally, like 20 more Zerglings come and they will just run into a Baneling because I'm microing in a main base.
I see.
So instead, I will swap into manual mode in a lot of situations in Zerg vs. Zerg where I'll just set the rally point somewhere and not hotkey the Zerglings. Or like in that defensive position where, okay, he sent like 8 Zerglings to your third, 8 or 10 Zerglings. Okay, build another round of Zerglings, control 3, and I can micro those separately. So you were just getting a little bit stuck on that, yeah.
That was one of the things I was going to say is, normally when I use control group stealing, it's for like ZvT, have a big ball of zerglings, you split it in half, and defend drops. Okay, fine. But in that case, you need to like split off the eggs as they're hatching, right? It's like you want to take all the units you have and all in them, but you want to keep like alt 3 the eggs to stay at home or something, or just not rally them, not hotkey them.
Yeah, one or the other.
A little different. Feels a little different, but yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's definitely something where being flexible with that is super important. Yeah, a lot of the time they will do that counter attack as you're pushing across with roaches to buy time. So like if I'm already massing zerglings, I might just control click the eggs if I've already hotkeyed them into my group. So I'm like control click the eggs, alt 3, right? Yep. Steal that out, and then my zerglings, because I know they can chase off his zerglings and then catch up with the roaches as they waddle across the map. Go. Okay, cool. All right, we'll dive into another game here. So yeah, the opening wasn't too big of an issue. Just go hatch, Baneling Nest, Overlord. That'll be fine. I'll keep an eye on it, and I'll memorize the timing so I can update the build and everything, and check that everything's all kosher and detailed, because sometimes things do slip through the cracks. For you, just focus on getting that Baneling pressure going. If he runs past you, don't stress over your Roach Warren being a bit late. Just be happy to overbuild Ling Bane, get that map control going. That's really going to allow you to dictate the pace of the game from there. So, good luck, have fun, man.
Thanks.
All right. So first step of the Roach All-In didn't go as well as we could have hoped, unfortunately. But we will get there hopefully on this game. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, Muffin Man. Fortunately, I don't go quite that bad when I'm muting myself. Oh my god. That's the Avillo coaching session for you. Oh shit, you know what, guys? I keep forgetting to highlight my coaching sessions from this week. Shit. I might highlight this one as well, actually. We'll see. I'm gonna throw up some of these on YouTube's. Highlight ZvZ coaching. I'm gonna go through. I throw them on YouTube occasionally. There's a really good Zerg vs Zerg one, just focusing on micro. I think this is it. Yeah, I'll link it for you guys in chat. You going to Melbourne on Saturday? You want to go to Sydney? May fly over. Fancy some face-to-face coaching? Probably not. It's a little bit hard to do. I did face-to-face coaching once in like 2011. Maybe we could organize it. I'm pretty busy the next few weeks though, but that's pretty cool. So you're going to Melbourne on Saturday. Where are you from, Backslash? You coming from overseas or what? And are you here for work, holiday? What's going on? Flights are pretty cheap, Melbourne to Sydney, and Sydney is a pretty awesome city. Weather is actually really cool right now, even though it's summer, but that just usually means next week's going to be really hot.
What?
It's quite a bit up and down, actually. Quite a bit up and down. Alright guys, so he's up against a fancy +1 melee build. It's really important he does critical damage with his Ling Bane attack, and then he makes plenty of units for defense at home. Otherwise a big Ling Flood may kill him. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. We'll see how he goes with it. Baneling Nest hasn't gone down yet. Goes for the third base. Okay, yeah, Baneling Nest will go down at 3 minutes. So I don't know if he's sloppy with his doubling up. He is a little bit sloppy with his doubling up, which is part of why he has less money than me when I'm doing this. So that's something which I do want to note. Game 4. We're going to write
Here.
focus on doubling up your drones a bit more. 3 drones on some patches in the main equals a significant loss of income. The other thing is I think he's taking his extractor really early. Extractor is a little early. You can take it at 1 minute 10 and it'll be fine, plus more minerals for that hatch bane nest. So that's the details we were missing here. Alright, so he's got 28 drones, quite a lot of drones. Banelings are coming in here. He should be able to just kill these workers. I don't know why he always splits his banelings into the main, actually. That's something I think I should bring up with him. Because as good as it can go, okay, it worked out there. It makes it really hard for you to micro as well. So, see how this goes. Didn't drone up that hard behind it. He is now droning up, but oh, he doesn't realize it's +1 melee. Oh, he takes a good engage there. But yeah, if he goes and fights here... Oh no, Cybercat made a horrible mistake morphing banelings right now. He should not be morphing banelings. He should just be fighting with +1 melee zerglings, I think.
Walk.
You don't have any safety banelings at home, so you were being a little bit greedy before, but it's okay now that you're already going into roaches. Yeah, good job putting guys on that second gas. Remember, you don't really need an evo chamber at all, but that's fine. It's finished. It doesn't matter. That's just autopilot.
Should I not do it?
Yeah, do not get an upgrade on that. No way. No, not at all.
Oh shit. Alright.
That's alright. And remember, you really want to group up your roaches. Don't just go across the map with your roaches. This is way too fast. You always want to hide your roaches. So pull back, because you're going across the map with like 4 roaches right now, and that just gives your opponent so much warning and so much time to prepare.
Yeah, and you just killed one. Because they weren't groups.
Roaches should always group up and only move out once you have 10 plus. As soon as you move out, swap to mass ling production. So that's something he really needs to work on. Oh, he was watching. That's alright. He'll be okay. Spines are going to finish here. This is a very hard ramp to break, so he really... I don't know where his units are. Once again, he's not grouped up. Really sloppy control of his units.
That's not good.
He should just break the rocks and go in, but I guess rotating to the third is decent. Ah, sloppy with that baneling. If he had one more baneling here, he crushes this fight. Now the zerglings are going to get a half decent trade because they are +1 melee. So, lots of details missing this game. Oh shit. Okay, he did snipe down the baneling, that's good. Oof, his banelings weren't hotkeyed onto a different group.
Right, so at this point I feel like I'm not going to kill him. So I'm feeling like I should transition. I don't know if that's the right call.
Normally it might be, but in this phase, because we just want to practice this for now, we want you to just kind of keep going and just see if you can break him. Sometimes being very stubborn and just continuing to try to break your opponent can definitely work, but you've got to be smart about how you do it.
Jesus Christ. Oh, that's not good. But he's up an upgrade, and I think he has more lengths. But he has no third, so I don't know. Like...
You can, I mean, you don't want to keep taking bad fights, but just keep massing tier 1 units is what I'm saying, even though it's not the best decision right now, necessarily. I mean, I guess if you want, you can transition. You've already got a layer on the way, why not? But you're going to need a shitload of units anyway, because these are upgraded zerglings. So you really need to overmake banelings and defend both your third and natural by, leaving some banelings unhotkeyed on your main ramp, your natural ramp, and the rest of your units hotkeyed in your third, so that you can kind of control one area while letting the other area sort of hopefully defend itself.
Okay.
got to keep over making banelings and only fight with those banelings. You really got to babysit your zerglings. Can't go out and fight zerglings one-on-one, or his will just trade way better every time. Of course, you can build roaches as well. Roaches combined with banelings is going to be the most efficient way to defend. But the most important thing is to always have your own banelings alive. As long as you've got your own banelings alive, you can buy a lot of time. And
nope. Calm down. Oh, oh shit. What's happening at our third?
It's gonna go down, I think. Let's see. You can just barely save it. No, it went down. Alright, so let's replace that, and let's kind of play this out. Remember, you did a lot of damage before. Just keep defending.
He killed my third.
Yeah, just keep defending for now. Don't do a half-assed move out. I mean, you could try to do a big all-in attack if you want, but you don't really have a lot of meat. You've only got 7 roaches. So if you want, you can pressure him. But like the moment he counterattacks, you got to be very careful to have defense at home. Go for a Spire. So normally...
That's what I was planning on doing.
Yeah, normally you go roach speed. You'd end up building a lot of roaches. But in this scenario, you've already got a lot of units out. You should be able to stay safe. Do remember, if you see a big link counterattack go across the map, you're going to need more than 2 banelings at each base. So you're going to need to be very flexible, and you really need to respect these upgraded zerglings. Of course, you need to send an overseer through, because you don't know if he's going mutas. Mutas after upgraded zerglings is very common. And you need to just keep trying to, drone up here, see if you can get that third base kind of saturated the moment it finishes. So already you have drones kind of heading over there. I
see a gigantic attack incoming.
Yeah, well, remember, you can always just pull your zerglings back or put them on a separate hotkey to counterattack, and just roaches and banelings will easily defend, as long as you micro it properly. The only way you're going to screw this up is if you try to micro your zerglings with your army. So you need to steal those zerglings onto a different control group and get rid of them, get them out of here so they're not a concern. Didn't get them out of here. Ideally, you'd send your zerglings to go counterattack as third or natural while defending here. Your banelings and roaches can handle this for sure.
Really? You sure?
A lot of your banelings there did kind of blow up a bit awkwardly, but yeah. You've got more banelings in your natural. You've got to make sure you keep using these banelings.
Well, now this feels really dicey.
Yeah, he just barely overwhelmed you there. So, if your zerglings were counterattacking, that would have been a super easy hold. Because suddenly he either loses his entire economy or he has to micro 2 places at once. And it also just, it makes it so much easier for you. Because you've got this big horde of zerglings, you just kind of A-move it to his third, you don't need to look at it. And you really need to focus on spreading your banelings out and move commanding them past your, your opponent's units. Because a few of your banelings were kind of detonating on just a few zerglings. And kind of spread your roaches out as well.
Yes.
But
it was very strange to me to have the zerglings on a hockey group.
Yeah.
Put the roaches and the banelings together. Maybe that was a mistake.
That's something you always want to do. Is you always want to have banelings on it. Okay, so normally you do banelings 3, banelings 2, right?
Normally, in my normal hockey, I put banelings on 1 and everything else on 2, typically.
Okay, cool.
But there I tried to keep the zerglings separate as well, and that was new to me.
Yeah, so you've got to start always thinking of number 3 as like your counter-attack hotkey, right? It's your your optional hotkey. Yep. Do you use standard hotkey layout, by the way?
Yes.
Do you use W at all?
W, no, I guess not.
Because you're using the standard layout. So you should really take number 0 or 9 or something like that you never use and throw that and turn W into control group 9 or 10. Because then you've got another super accessible hotkey there that you can use for creep queens in ZvT. It's very important with Mutiling Bane, something like that. So I'm going to write that here just as a mechanical suggestion at the top of our coaching. So mechanical suggestion, turn W into 9th or 10th hotkey. All right, now you played pretty well there. There was some really good stuff overall.
Some really dodgy stuff too.
A few things did go wrong. So yeah, getting really quick at just bam, Alt 3, bam, Alt 3.
Yep.
Getting rid of units, that's so important. You really need to work on that. And it's just, you weren't clear in your mind there. How do I control roaches, banelings, and zerglings all on separate hotkeys, which is what really screwed you over. And I was like, just do it. Because I'm used to doing it. I'm like, why isn't he just doing it? Just do it. And it's like, well, for me, it's like, bam, I don't even think about what buttons I'm pressing because I've done it, so many times in Legacy of the Void since they came out with that awesome stealing mechanic. Yeah, it takes a bit of time to get used to though. So let's see. So we are coming up on an hour now.
Sure.
I think you guys should keep grinding out a bunch of games together if he's down to. So a couple of small things. Let's look at my notes for that final game. Focus on doubling up your drones a little bit more. In some of your games, you do have 3 drones on far patches and only a single drone on a close patch. So, not a close patch, but a different far patch. So because of that, your 16 drones aren't really a full 16 drones on a base. So do that. Also, I believe you're taking your gas really early, like 10 or 12 seconds earlier. I didn't look at the exact timer, but you had a bit more gas than I would normally see, and you were right. You definitely didn't have that many minerals, so you couldn't afford your baneling nest as fast. So I think the combination of having drones on tripled up on third far mineral patches, combined with you taking your gas a bit earlier, a minute 10 I've written here is completely fine. I usually take mine a minute 8, a minute 7, a minute 9, somewhere around there.
Sure.
And that way you put guys on gas straight away, and you're going to have mined just a little bit more minerals before that. So that little stuff will make your opening slightly smoother. Beyond that, group up your roaches when you're going for an attack. Like, try to hide them. You can leave a few roaches at the front to snipe off, say, a zergling that comes in so he doesn't see the group. But you want to always wait for your core of roaches. And like I was saying earlier, you can go for 10 roaches, you can go for 20 roaches. You go for 20, you're really banking them up and hiding. You're maybe even sending fake drones to your third as a zergling comes in to make it look like you're droning. That's like the real cheeky way of playing, right? Where they build a round of units and then they start droning.
I've done that killing Bane phase. You transfer a few fakes to your natural. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. The cheeky, the super common in wings as well. You'd always do that in roach fights. But very important to do that, and then to only rally zerglings the moment you move out with roaches, because roaches are just they're just going to be too slow after the initial big clump.
Was I rallying roaches? Is that why you said that?
Sorry?
Was I rallying roaches?
Well, you were kind of just moving out half-assedly with your first 3 roaches, so you didn't wait to group up. So I just want to make sure there's a clear distinction between building roaches, okay, I'm moving out, swap to pure zergling production. Once you make that distinction, it should always be clean. It would probably happen automatically if you just wait for your roaches. As you said, you were just kind of, let's get over there with the roaches. You change that, it should all come together. But yeah, I mean, pretty good play, man. I definitely think grind out some all-in Bane all-in games to get just that mechanic of bam, instantly, every time you morph Banelings, alt 1, bam, alt 1, every time you do it. Because there was the moment when you did the Roach Bane and your Banelings were just on your army hotkey and they kind of just move commanded into the Lings. And they got a few great detonations and a few really bad detonations. Sure. Overall, mechanically and stuff, you look pretty decent. Do you use camera hotkeys?
Not a lot. I've been trying to more, but it's not built-in muscle memory.
Okay. How do you inject?
I keep each queen on individual hotkeys, and I just 5v click, 6v click, 7v click.
Okay, cool. Old school method. That's what I used to do for many years. Camera hotkeys are amazing if you can be bothered learning them, but it's one of those things where you sit there and you spend half an hour each day in the location hotkey trainer, or maybe not half an hour, but at least 15 minutes. Just sitting there, just practicing kind of moving drones between bases, moving your army, back to bases and stuff. And you really need to change up your whole inject cycle to help you get used to it as well. So you just kind of bounce between with the camera hotkeys, box the queen, inject, which is what most pros use, and it's great. But your one is fine. It's not like that's the main thing holding you back or anything.
It seems like your method is much better in scrappy games where your queens are not at the right basis. If the game is calm and they're all by their respective hatcheries, I think the hotking the queens is fine.
I really like coaching you because you get everything. You've got the good understanding of why things happen. This is awesome. It's good because it shows that you've got a good kind of knowledge of why these little adjustments are good and bad. So that's awesome. That's really good that you've got that that instant analysis there. And that's exactly it. I remember it was there was a point in ZvT where it was there was just too much friggin' harassment and widow mine drops and stuff. And I just couldn't keep up, and I was like, man, this is ridiculous. And then when I learnt camera hotkeys, I was like, oh, I can deal with messy positions. And the same with Protoss players. dealing with muters without camera hotkeys is one of the most nightmarish things. Like, oh
Really,
my god.
I find it difficult. Like you shot on me yesterday in ZvT. Did you? If you remember, Liberators and Widow Mines everywhere.
Oh yeah, right. Yep. that's such a brutal build, man. Yeah, camera hotkeys help against that shit quite a lot. That's like the
Yep.
I'm gonna hit you from many angles and then follow up with my big 2 base all in. Yeah, the 1-1-1, that thing's so powerful. Such a good good pressure.
That's a story for another day.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, focus on a lot of little notes there. So what you can do as well is once you're done grinding some games with Cyber, was it Cyber? Yes, Cybercat. Hop in, watch the replays and read the notes, or watch at least like some of the replays, and just make sure you really kind of go, okay, I know exactly what we're talking about. I've got all the points memorized. But like I said, hop into a game, just do some stage 1 practice. Just focus on hotkeying the banelings, splitting off the banelings. So you've got the forward baneling morph every game, split off a few zerglings. Once you've done that, another 5 or 10 games, then move on to really refining the roach roll in. And then from there, you can move on to the muter transition. I've written just a couple of notes on the eventual transition into muters off roaches with roach speed. It's very basic for the moment, but it's something we can kind of revisit and give you more information on. Yep. And I think you're a smart enough player, and the game is very flexible from that point that you can make a pretty good at kind of figuring out how to get there on a game-by-game basis and start to establish more habits. Like, okay, every game, if this is happening, I do this. And it should be good. Awesome. All right, so I think this was a pretty good session. Hopefully, any other questions or anything you wanted to ask?
Good list of things to be practicing.
Awesome.
So yeah, this has been very helpful. We'll see how it does.
Sick. Anything confuses you on ladder, anything makes you bash your head against the table, write it down and save the replay, and we can look at that next time. Awesome. I can't remember what your initial plan was with how regularly you wanted to do coaching. If you know a time for like next week, we can book you in right now. Otherwise, you can just shoot me a message whenever you.
Sure. Let me shoot you a message. I need to practice and see how quickly I can take in this advice.
Okay. Awesome. Fantastic. All right, man. Well, have a good night and good luck.
You too. Thanks so much.
Cheers, man.
See you.